Hi everybody. I am making a second video about the hole in our souls because I made the other one a couple of years ago, and it's amazing on this journey that you're having with me and that I'm learning from how much I've evolved and how much more I know, and I need to pass it on. So I want to talk about the hole in our soul again because we all have one. If you were um, a child that was an only child, you have a hole in your soul because you didn't have siblings and you were alone. And even though you got 100% of your parents' attention, you didn't have siblings when almost everyone you met in the school had siblings. So there's a hole in your soul. If you had siblings, you have a hole in your soul because you didn't get 100% of your parents' attention. And this is in healthy families. These are the two holes in the soul that just automatically happen. When you're a baby and the little seconds and minutes that your diaper needs to be changed, you're teething, you want to talk and you can't talk and no one can understand you. That's when you start a hole in your soul because there's no way for anyone to understand you. And the only thing that can fix you is love and someone holding you. And if that didn't happen, by the time you're already 2 and 3 years old, you have a hole in your soul. So what happens is, like I said in the last video, to recognize it and to understand that I haven't met anybody yet that doesn't have one. And that includes famous people, rich people, healthy people, leaders, teachers, the people that are teaching me. One of the reasons we all know how to teach and lead and heal is because we came from broken and we've been there and we know what it's all about, and we've healed ourselves so that we can pass it on. Okay. So the hole in your soul, and then it starts in your family, and then it goes to the playground. When someone takes your swing, when someone makes fun of you, when someone dates the girl that you liked, when the girl that you like doesn't like you back, when you want to go to the prom and you don't have the guts to ask. These are all things that contribute into the brokenness of what you feel deep, deep inside. Because when you're little, the only things you have to hold on to are what you believe in, what you dream, what you crave, and what you're taught. You don't have the mentality as a young child to process anything but what you're being taught, what you learn, and what you're not having and what you're having. And you're walking around in a world where everyone has a different hole in their soul, but no one really listens to children. So by the time you get to high school, there's a bigger hole. And by the time you go to college and graduate, it's even bigger. And when we go to marry, we have a hole in the girl's soul and a hole in the guy's soul. And then if you marry, and you're gay, there's two men with two different holes in their souls, and lesbians, same thing. So there's just two individual people with holes in their soul. And most likely, the first time we go to marry, and that happened to me and a lot of people I know, you marry the worst traits of what you left behind because that's what you know. So, of course, I married a yeller and a verbally abusive man, and he started off physically abusive because that's where I came from. And he married me and had a verbally abusive father, and married me who was very passive and the victim, much like his mother. And so the two holes in our soul were in love, 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 love. And we found a way, because of the deep love, to try to figure it out. And I went way further in counseling and therapy and healing than he did. When our divorce ended, he stopped healing himself. So we're not even in the same planet anymore. But for the duration of our marriage, we learned how to fix the two broken holes in our souls by doing the best that we could through the love that we had. However, most times you end up with the hole in your soul, they have theirs, and people and one party or the other doesn't want to fix it. And that makes cheating, brokenness, screaming, yelling, verbal abuse, and a continuation of the life you left behind. And I tell people, heal yourself before you get into a partnership, because no one can become your partner and have a healthy life when everybody's walking around with broken souls and not knowing how to fix it and not knowing what's wrong. And a lot of counselors out there aren't even as advanced as what I'm telling you. They will sit there and deal with the direct issue, like you called her name, so that hurt her and she didn't want sex. And she didn't want sex, and then she didn't want to do the dishes. And then because she didn't do the dishes, you didn't want to do the laundry. And then you didn't want to do the laundry because she didn't do the dishes, and then nobody had sex. And they deal right with those direct issues, and they're not fixing anything bigger than that. So you patch it up, you say sorry, and you go back to the broken life. And then people are in a broken job and broken this, broken that, and the hole in your soul just keeps going and going. The way to put any fire out in your life, remember how you have to go to the campfire when you're a Girl Scout or a Boy Scout, and they let it simmer and then they suffocate it, and you put water on the little ashes, and then don't want too much water because in the morning you're going to want to have it for breakfast. So you just sprinkle water to make those little ash things stop being orange, and then it goes out. The problem with most people is they continue to feed the hole in their soul. So when you travel broken and then you go add to it and you get fired from a job, pick the wrong job, people are leaving you out, people don't like you, you're just putting more into that broken hole and thinking, I'm not worthy, I'm not good, why don't people like me? And then there's anger and confusion and pain and loss. And we are very shy about dealing with any emotions that are not positive. What we've been taught in the world is to demonstrate, I'm happy I'm at a parade, I'm happy I'm at a holiday, I'm happy I'm this, I'm that. And we aren't taught to be able to be honest and go, I'm not up to myself today, I don't want to talk about it, I'll handle it, but I just can't shine like a Christmas tree light bulb today because I'm not there. And then in society, when you even try to own your feelings, people run the other way. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to help, or they're gossipy and they want to help so they can use it against you. So we're in a world we're very isolated to learn how to deal with our own stuff. But what I'm going to tell you about learning how to fix your own stuff, you're like the master of your life. And so do it, because then you can redo it and do it again and do it again, and you are not dependent on someone else's answer. So a long time ago, when I didn't know I was broken and I didn't know any of this stuff, say I went up to someone and said, well, I don't like to talk about my miscarriages because usually I cry, but that's a subject that's so excruciating and so painful. I did not think I was going to live, because when you've lost 5 babies, your mind feels like you're completely failing and your body's failing and that you're almost done, because a baby coming out is a death. You have it anyway. It just doesn't turn into labor and a baby, but it's the same process. So very few people can relate to that. But as a broken person, when I didn't know better, I would try to go to my best friends and then say, I just had a miscarriage. So I did have 2 friends that were like right there, the exact right answers that I needed, embraced me, made me feel better, let me cry, and that. But let me just pretend I'm going to a person that can't help me. So I go to work and I say to someone, I just had a miscarriage. And they go, well, are you better? Can you get over it? Like, are you going to start trying again? Did you have sex? Are you going to have sex? Like, they're not even where you are giving you the answer that you need to hear. After a miscarriage, by the way, you can't even think of sex. You're halfway dead. You're so traumatized. So if someone asked you something that off the chain, you don't even know what to do, because the answer isn't even close to reality. So there would be a way to feed the hole in my soul by going to someone that I'm looking for an answer and I'm not getting the answer I need, and then I've got more pain, more frustration, more tears, my own anxiety, and then anxiety that I tried to ask somebody and I became vulnerable by opening up and telling them, and bam, I didn't get what I need. And when you learn to tell yourself what you need, you become your own healer. Now, it doesn't mean that you never can tell someone when you're not okay or when you're not feeling your best. You do. We all need the love and support of other people. But my support team now learns to listen to me, and this is what I want people to go obtain. So when I say to someone, I'm really upset and I can't talk about it, what they would say to me is, okay, I'm here. I'm here if you need to talk. I'm here if you need me to listen. And I love you and I support you. And when you're ready, tell me what you need and we can go out. We can just shop. We can have lunch. We can sit. We can do whatever you need, but I'm here for you. That is a true friend. And that is what you have to go look for and find. My people now in my life, there's just a handful, but they answer me that way. That's how I answer people. And let's just say I already think I have a solution for your problem. Doesn't matter. If I'm your friend, my answer is, what do you need? It's not what I think you need. It's not what maybe my idea is. It's not my solution. It's me learning to listen to you to ask what you need. And if you create that for yourself and you start offering that from yourself, that is how you find people that answer you that way back. And if someone answers you the other way, you know they're not going to be able to be in your life because they're still toxic and they're not listening and hearing you. And we're always going to have a hole in our soul, everybody. It's just how to manage it. So when you fix yourself from the thing that happened in your journey with your parents, and then maybe your marriage, when celebrities die, when someone you love dies, when an icon dies, there's a hole in your soul because they're gone. And that facing their loss and what that means to you puts back dirt in the hole in your soul. But you mourn it and you learn how to say, this is life. It's not always about living. We have a lot of traumas and we lose beautiful people. But then I need to learn how to treasure them and celebrate what they were, what they mean to me, and still fit them in my world and not close out my feelings about it. And you're going to have a hole in your soul as you empty chapters. If someone retires, if your favorite restaurant closes, if something you did every week is gone, if a radio station that you grew up with goes out of business, these things all end up affecting us in a painful way that affects deep, deep, deep because it's a piece of who we are. So when you want to fill yourself up, you always have to understand that a hole in your soul is fine if you're managing it and always taking care of those ashes and putting sprinkles of water on them, but not filling it with another toxic life. And the people that are the most miserable and the most unhappy are making their hole in their soul be a hole in a crater. And my hole in my soul is always like this, guys. Tiny, tiny little minuscule hole. And that's what everyone else should have. And I manage my pain. And most of it I do by myself. Do I go to the leaders that heal me? Yes, I'm on their pages all the time. And I'm going to put up a bunch of amazing quotes. And when I make these videos with quotes, everybody, please watch them. These have words that resonate in your mind so that they resonate in your heart and in your soul. And even though I'm not on them and they're just the pictures, I have dug them out of the most amazing places and put them up here for you so that you get to read things that stick with you and change the messages you're playing in your head with the ones you're reading on the screen. And that's what happened to me and how I got well, and that's what I want for you. And the last thing about the holes in our soul is that my hole in my soul is not the ruler of me. I'm the ruler of me. The hole in my soul is just a place where the pain goes and I keep it very, very minimal because I'm always emptying it out. And if you don't empty it out by processing through your pain, you're going to crave things like drugs, drinking, obsessive this, being addicted to this and that and the other thing, because you're not facing the whole. And you can never ever have a healthy life until you give yourself a healthy life. And one of the only ways to do it is to break it down from birth. And since we can't go back to what it was like to be a baby because our memories just don't work that way, we have to understand when we're looking at a different child what it's like when those tiny little needs are not met and what it does. And so because we're very, very resilient and strong, we can endure a lot. And we don't have to let anything break us. And the best thing that you can do when you've gotten this little recipe is stay put in yourself, trust yourself to your feelings and emotions, and come back to my videos. If you're having a day that's sad, there's a video on there about that. If you're feeling lonely, then there's another reminder. Oh yeah, those are all the new things. When I went to these healers in the beginning, I read like some books like 17 times. I watched some videos, 50 times, because you can't undo the first 18 years of your life by coming in and watching one video one time. You need to watch it again and again to give yourself the energy, to give yourself the wellness. And the most important thing, and the one way, if there's any of videos on here that are going to heal you completely, it's to start with the hole in your soul. And all the other ones talk about the symptoms of toxic this, toxic that, which create that hole. But if you don't address the hole, know you have it, know how to put it into the little ash things and keep it small, all the other videos just play different ways in your life. And we live in a toxic world. We live with a lot of evil and dark. But I see the light. I shine with the light. I shine light to others like the healers shine to us. And the more healing that we do, there's more lights that shine. And everybody that gives themselves the glory of getting well and feeling wonderful becomes part of the light. And there was someone that wrote on one of my things that what I'm saying is euphoric and it's like a drug, and it's like, I think they use some other word, I can't remember. It is. This is what happens to me when I'm learning from the people that teach me. I'm euphoric and I'm like, oh my God. And Oprah calls them aha moments, like, oh my God, aha. So on my channel, if you're having those, that's what she calls them. We can call them whatever. But that's what's happening and why you feel this way. You feel euphoric when you get answers to your pain. And you need them because every single person and every single fan of this page is a person that deserves wellness. And that's the biggest message that I'm trying to spread, is heal yourself, believe in yourself, and have the knowledge. And trust me, if I had known what to do with this in my 20s, I'd probably be the ruler of the world, because I would have just kept going and traveling everywhere and spreading it around when my body would take me. But I want people to understand one thing. I don't want to be any more famous. I just want to heal the people that find me. There's ways, people are always asking me on here, will you let us plug your videos and do this, and we'll give you this recognition and all that. I don't want that, everybody. I believe in our aura, and I believe in fate and our journey, and the right people always find you, no matter where you are, including the internet. And some of you people have changed my life just by your comments. You have made me feel so good to know that I'm helping and that I've done the right thing for the people that did the right thing to me. I'm paying it forward for what they did, and all of you can pay it forward once you get it all together. And you don't have to have a channel, but you can do it within your own lives. And if you want a channel, do that too, because the more of us that are out here, the better. It takes a lot to run a channel, and I'm exhausted. But this channel was born out of bullying, and then when I was blackmailed, it was essential for me to stand up for myself and to tell the truth. And as horrible as the events were that I had to go through, I never stopped thinking of how to help people and how to heal people and how to continue to heal myself. And I reached out to the leaders helping me, which gave me strength to continue this channel and help all of you. And look how far we have come. I planned on having about 8 or 10 videos. I can't, when I see the number up there, I just can't even imagine that I'm still talking. But I'm healing people and I'm making people happy and get to where they need to go. And that is one of my favorite chapters of my life, and I wouldn't change a day. So everybody, work on the hole in your soul, because it is the most important thing about getting where you belong. And I want everybody, if you're in a relationship with someone that's got a different hole in their soul for a different reason, they work on theirs and you work on yours. It's not a comparison. It's not a contest. It's not, I see what's wrong with you, you see what's wrong with me. You have to acknowledge it your own self. And if you're in a loving relationship, partners can't become therapists to each other and pick each other apart. Each person has to do their own work, because when any person starts mothering or bossing or being more healthy than the other, it's going to break the relationship. Because try to remember something, you don't want sex with someone that's in a mother or father role. You want a partner that you crave and that you love and that you can't wait till they come home and they put on cologne and you're just like ready to rip their clothes off. So you both have to work on stuff separately. My advice is always to have separate therapists in a couple situation, because each person needs to work on that hole in their soul first and then figure out how to not repeat their parents' life and make important rules together that they want within their household. And that can only happen when you've gotten to the bottom of the problem. Your problems when you go to therapy aren't about, he came home late, he didn't call, he said he would call, he forgot my anniversary. Those are the side effects of the hole in your soul. Because when you are a complete person, all that stuff's in check. You would never put your partner on a side burner and a back burner and forget things like that. Those are key and important. And to keep your nest happy and your life happy, you have your whole family system in check, and all those things don't happen. All those little fights and things are from the broken holes in each other's soul not getting addressed and listened to within the house. Because if they're too opposite, you both become invisible within the same household. And when I got married, that's exactly what happened. We were invisible children, and so he would come home and not address me and want to be playing soccer and watching bloody movies and doing all kinds of stuff, and it didn't include me, and then I was invisible and whatever. And so we had to fix the hole in our souls and learn how to do it back before they even had it, the words to say what it was. So it was a really tough road. You guys can fix things so much more quickly now because there's so much more information, and you don't have to spend all the kind of money and time that we did. When this happened to me, there weren't even computers. We would go to work and then get home, eat our dinner, and then go to therapy. And stupidly, we went to the same therapist, and she tried to fix those stupid issues that would patch up for a week and then would be back there again with another brokenness. And it was only from the luck of me running into other people and doing homework on my own and getting some books that I got to change the patterns of how he and I interacted. And like I said, we managed to patch it up. It worked for 12 years. It was a really long struggle. We were together almost 15, but married for 12. I wouldn't want to repeat a marriage like that. For me, a marriage is all about two people entering it with fixed holes in their souls that are visible to each other, put each other first, put the kids first, have a family plan, do family time, share meals, share chores, and are happy. And I've lived that way for so long now. I don't even know how I survived the other way. But I came from broken, and I only knew what I knew when I knew it, as all of you do. And we only can heal when we get the information to play some other tape in our head. And so once I got to that, I did exactly that, and that's what I want for all of you. And you can have it almost 2 decades be ahead of me, which is why we pass it on, because we can heal the world a generation at a time. And everybody needs to understand there's nothing wrong with you. You have to just unbreak yourself from everything you've been told, address the hole in your soul, and start working on where do you go from here. The more healthy you are, the more healthy of a person you're going to meet in a relationship. And it will last longer because you already have glue together because you have your stuff in check. And my life now is about a healthy relationship with our stuff in check. And we both did come from broken homes and whatever, but we worked on our stuff. So it just works out that I got really lucky. But there was a 14-year gap for me between my marriage and what I have now. And I'm very blessed, and I count every minute of it as a time I treasure. So please be easy on yourself. Be okay if you're alone, and manage the hole in your soul. Thank you.